What is up, my faithful ballers? We are back again with another installment of What If Cooler Replaced Freezer Part 5. Now, I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, and I've been going through some things, but now I'm back at it again, and we are back to What If Cooler Replaced Freezer. Now, I hope all of you have been really keeping up with it, because we're about to get into some really interesting territory here. And I've also noticed something interesting. I've really been focusing a lot on the inter-universe happenings instead of what's happening on Earth, but that's only really because if Cooler had taken over, a lot of different changes would have taken place that would have been needed to be talked about. But I do want to preface this that after we're done with this, we will be going into more on what's happening on Earth. On Earth with Kakarot and the Earthlings. So sit back, relax, and let's get into what happened, into the fifth, as I stated, the fifth part of What If Cooler Replaced Freezer, and let's see what Nappa's been doing in the Galactic Patrol. Nappa and Banyu landed on the planet that the Galactic Patrolman's hyperbolic time chamber was stationed on. After clearing it with the commands, he actually managed to get her and Nappa to be able to use it for a bit. And for a bit, she mentioned to the Saiyans would finish this Cooler, due to Cooler's new funding for the Galactic Patrol to be his own personal law enforcement organization. Then they really had more than enough manpower already, so they weren't in much of a rush to train any new soldiers. And if the Saiyans were truly going to be helping them, well, this was a good way to show good faith. Faith for all Cooler had done for them in just a few hours, let alone what he could do for them for the remainder of his time as the new appointed ruler of the universe. So Nappa looks at the time chamber and he looks at Banyu. He's like, So, if what you said is right, then this will give me 3 days of training in one, right? Banyu looked at him and see, Banyu just looked at him. You got that right. Right, it's like you're not so dumb after all. You actually listen. A vein almost pops out of Nappa's head. Okay, listen, I'm going to need more. Listen. Then Nappa turned to face her fully, and Banyu actually flinches a bit at how fast she's gotten. She knew he was stronger than her, but this is insane. Looking at her, Nappa actually just starts to talk, actually points to the chamber. Listen, it's not just gonna be me training in this place, alright? I'm gonna need to be able to bring my entire army in here too, and show Bardock and show Bardock and the others up once they arrive. I'll have the most mighty Saiyan in military force the galaxy has ever known. And then the Saiyans will finally achieve the rightful place as rulers of the universe. Banyu actually started blinking at that. He had never thought Nappa had such lofty goals, and not just that, but seemingly for the common good of his people and not just himself. So, what's actually kind of almost made her attracted to him in a way. But she luckily her skin was red because he kind of said that. But she quickly turns away and says, Fine, I'll arrange some resources and food to be able to be delivered so you can all train to your heart's content. But for now, she walks up Nappa a bit. It's just you and me. As he presses himself up again. Nappa actually looks down at her and smirks as the two of them walk to the time chamber. This is gonna be some rough training. I hope the other cadets can notice it when we're done roughing up the place. The two of them quickly enter the time chamber, and once inside, Nappa just kind of both of them. Nappa, due to not having been in it before, actually just looks around and he's stunned, speechless. What? What is this? It's nothing but nothing. It's just an infinite expanse of white void. I can't even. What? Nappa was struggling to come to terms with it. He had never actually seen what this place was before. And then as he took another step forward, he actually realized something. Hey, wait a minute. The gravity here is actually pretty similar to Planet Vegeta's. That's a letdown. Down. I wish this place could fluctuate in gravity or something. Something to have higher amounts. My soldiers are gonna think this is child's play. Oh well, at least we're getting 3 times the training, the same training 3 times as fast and hard. Nappa then turns to Vanyu, who just smiles up at him. Oh well. Say, dum-dum. Vanyu walks up to him. I was thinking, how would you appear to be very, you appear to be not as much of a brute as you make yourself out to be. I dare say you actually appear to be intelligent. And he starts walking around Nappa as he almost gets mad, but he also senses that he's on to something. Yeah, so what? You wanna join me in my great siege for the superiority of the Saiyan race? Vanyu looks back at him smiling devilishly. And if I was, Nappa just stares at her and into a fighting stance. Well then, girl. You're gonna have to show you're worthy of standing next to the great Nappa. Nappa, future king of the Saiyan people. Vanyu gets into a fighting stance of her own as he begins to. And the two of them begin to spar. Now, of course, I didn't mention this last time, but Vanyu actually did get a bit stronger. He went from 70,000 to around 140,000. He basically did the double for her power while using the time chamber from time to time. But of course, Nappa is twice as strong as quite literally twice as strong as her, so her attacks don't do anything to him. And Nappa's long since learned to end when he's fighting people of superior combat intelligence to him. He needs to be ready to finish the fight as quickly as possible. So the two of them just mostly go into those little, Dragon Ball Z fights where they go in and out, punching and kicking. Nappa just wising his power as the fight goes on. He was using just enough to not overwhelm Vanyu, but also just enough to keep himself ahead of her. In terms of her capabilities, he uses with one hand he uses his laser eyes actually cause Vanyu to back up in shock as he projects an electric energy field around herself that fizzles it out. However, with that distracting, he goes up behind Vanyu while he was preoccupied with that, and uses his break move. Not to break her arm, but just to hit her arm just enough for it to go numb so she can't use it. And then he proceeds to threaten her with a simple bulge. He then begins to kick her to the ground. Go up high into the air with a giant attack, and then punching kick her down. Needless to say, Vanyu did not stand much of a chance in the fight, but despite that, he's smiling, and so is Nappa, as he actually picks her up and carries her to the Westian area. Yeah, and then he looks down at her and smirks again. Say, we're gonna need bigger lodging, if it's gonna be the two of us working together. A more private quarters. Just for all quarters. he smiles at her as Banyu looks up at him, and reaching up to actually tap his head. That might have been the smartest thing you said. Said King Nappa. Nappa just chuckles at that. I'm gonna be hearing that a lot from you first, and then from the others. Yeah, you two are doing good. Keep it up. We have exactly only a few more hours before we gotta head back to planet Vegeta. Well, at least in here. Whoa, caught me slipping there then. Sure. Nappa is ecstatic as he just finished his 5-month-long stint in the time chamber. And he spent the entire 5 months on the outside world in the time chamber. He wasn't gonna slack off on training for a second. Neither was he gonna do it for the rest of the Saiyan military that stayed in with him as he trained in the patrol time chamber. Looking back at it, looking out at the recruits that have long since passed out from exhaustion after the several-hour long training stint, which Nappa called Nappa basically called the ruthless. Basically fighting until you all pass out from exhaustion or serious injury, which actually did happen. Then the only 2 people left standing, out of the several thousand Saiyans that were with Nappa, but actually were just now Gilo and Tomate. Tomate is the one with the black headband, and Gilo's the one with the orange Saiyan armor. These 2 had quickly grown up to be Nappa's 2 foremost lieutenants. He was amazed at their fighting, not just their adaptability in combat, but also their growth, noting them to be prodigies, and was actually surprised to find that they had been low-level warriors, with Nappa firmly believing now that maybe that entire low-level, mid-level, high-level stuff was just getting in the way of the Saiyans progressing. But then again, one could also say this was just a mistake of the system, because they should have been, at the bare minimum, mid-class warriors. There's maybe even high-class ones like himself. But he puts those thoughts to the side as the 2 of them began to fire key volleys at them. The 2 twin brothers went after the teacher, the mentor, as they followed his ethos, as one of them followed his ethos on overwhelming frontal assault, and the other laid down suppressive fire from the sides. Nappa having to defend from multiple angles at once. Nappa actually, this brought a firm, proud smile to Nappa's face. He was incredibly impressed at how far he'd come. But I think we should also get into power. And just to show how far he had come, Nappa's new power level after the time he spent training in the hyperbolic time, the patrol time chamber, was actually was actually very intense. The dude barely he rested only when he could barely move after a long stint of training. And then this caused his power to skyrocket all the way from 280,000 to around 3 million. And if anyone's curious as to how we got that, into how I got that number, I will put a doc in the description below speaking of the power increases that they're displayed in the series, and the power levels currently from these points onward. But Nappa actually got a power level around 3.5 mil. It could be higher, but he was fighting slightly fatigued at the moment. So it was a bit lower. Technically, it should be about 4 million right now. Actually, no, never mind. He has a power level. Nappa now has a power level around 4 million. Just do. And if you want to find out, you can do the math below, like I've done for the last few videos. But anyway, as for Drago and Tollmate, as Tollmate began to hammer away into Nappa, let's just say that their hits are somewhat affecting him, because both of them basically have power levels. They're easily the strongest ones there besides Nappa, meaning the power levels would have to be from 1.5 about 1.5 to about 2.5 million respectively. And this is separated. So together they're actually capable of pressing Nappa. And as Tollmate unleashes a full power energy wave point blank at Nappa just barely manages to get out of the way of and clotheslining him straight into a blast from his brother, the Drago. Managing to knock both of them back at once. Nappa actually is starting to feel just how strong they are. And also at this point, they have learned to sense energy without a scouter, due to, let's just say that they managed to learn that from somewhere, where I think Banyu at this point would have informed them how to, as for where Banyu is right now, that'll be revealed later. Let's just say she can't fight while she's so encumbered. But as Nappa then sets up both of them with him as he unleashes Nappa then sets both of them up for the attack as he unleashes a easing storm, unleashing a huge exploding wave right onto two of them. The two brothers just barely put up a key shield around themselves, but one can tell that attack did do some damage. The two silently look at each other and nod as they begin to circle around Nappa, actually copying the move that Jason Berter did when all the Saiyans were fighting against them, the Blue Hurricane. But Nappa is impressed by this to no end, and proceeds to actually meet the attack head on, fighting both the brothers off as they swirl around him. The fight actually goes on for the entire few hours that Nappa said they had left. But then again, it is in the patrol time chamber, so it's not really that big of a deal. But Nappa does want to be punctual, though. I mean, he's going to be the future king of the Saiyan people. Wouldn't be good if he showed up late for an appointment. So, deciding to end this now, Nappa takes all that brutal training he got from Wakum and puts it into the endurance he has, outlasting the two brothers just enough for them to get sloppy. And once they get sloppy, that's when Nappa shows up. So as Drago begins to unleash a key barrage volley, Nappa actually begins to grab Tollmate, and with a megaton throw, jumps into the air and actually wusses the ground, wusses straight towards Drago, who's still firing key volleys. Who stopped firing key volleys because he doesn't want to hit his brother, but at the same time, Nappa seems like he's unguarded. So he goes to Nappa's side in order to try to help Drago, only for Nappa only for Nappa to point one hand at him and do a bright finger beam right into his face, blinding the Saiyan. And as he grabs him by his head too, and then forces both of them to the ground with a megaton explosion. Once this happens and the dust settles, Nappa looks at the two unconscious young Saiyan teens. Well, I know who my royal guard is gonna be after this. Okay, everybody, back up. Now we have a kingdom. I have a kingdom to rule. Look, the Saiyans all just yes, King Nappa. But the Saiyan and the other Saiyans that all form more King Vegeta are like, we'll see about that. Yeah, basically everyone but Nappa and Banyu are completely and utterly wrecked. Especially as Banyu comes out of the... This is even seen more so when Banyu comes out of... This is even seen more so when Banyu comes out of her and Nappa's private quarters, and it's clear to see that she is indeed pregnant. Well, this kid's about as relentless as you are, you idiot. You idiot. Nappa just used her. I mean, King Nappa. Alright. Everyone, move out. Now, Vanyu just does a little mock salute. Yes, sir. Okay, now I'm sure a bunch of you have been wondering, hey, Bardock, wait a minute, Bardock had his own team, but we haven't seen them in the last 3 or 4 parts. That's right, we haven't. And that's because whereas Cooler himself is rather confident and the Saiyans going strong, he also wanted to do another experiment with Bardock's team. He had left the other three Saiyan groups with some form of tutelage and some form of, guidance. But this time around, with Bardock, actually had an interesting suggestion. The Saiyans are still gonna need to go out and conquer other planets. And while they're doing this, they're not really gonna have a lot of time to do that while they're training. So Bardock's idea was, why don't we go, hey, Lord Cooler, why don't we have my crew go and do this? And instead, it'll be a good idea to see how strong a Saiyan can get when we're left to our own devices. Cooler chuckles at him. I think we've already seen the outcome of that experiment. But Bardock looks serious. Lord Cooler, please. I trust every single person on my team with their lives. And whereas your training has been invaluable, I still have faith in them. Allow them to go conquer planets in your stead, for the glory of the Cooler Empire. Cooler thinks on this, and he's like, any shortcomings they have will be held against you, but you may do as you will. Now, if all is being said, get back here. Now it's all being said, get on the ship. And that was over 6 months ago. Now all the Saiyans are heading back to planet Vegeta, and not just them, but also Bardock's group as well. Toma, Fossa, Shiges, and Borgos. Let's see what these guys have been up to since, well, this is the first time we're focusing on them, but let's check out. Man, now that planet, that was a tough one. Shiges groaned as he slumped down in the high tier and behind in the incredibly soft interior of the new ship that the squad had been given. Bardock could put in to get wood with them with Lord Cooler, it seems, and now they were allowed to pretty much do what they should be doing. Shiges honestly wasn't doing. doing, which was conquering planets like Saiyans always had. It's had. Bardock Toma just looked at Zagas and chuckled. Hey, no one told you to worsen that planet's military based on your own. It was funny though, seeing you roll around like a little bowling ball. Oh, Zagas looked at that Toma with an annoyed gas. Hey, you were taking too long. Not my fault I had to pick up your slack. Borgos was just sitting by the control desk with Fossa munching on some dead alien that they had killed a couple days ago that they had in storage. Fossa just looked back and chuckled to see pilot the ship. Oh, will you two stop? We managed to take over a planet that's been in the bin for weeks at this point. Probably months. Lord Cooler and Bardock will both be proud of us. But once we get back. Heck. Oh, Mosa. Heck. Back. She chuckled at the two of them as they continued bickering nonetheless. But really, it had been a very profitable few months for them. Basically, for the next 6 months, Cooler had basically given Bardock permission to give the 4 of them free reign. Basically, the task was simple. Go out and conquer planets they thought would be beneficial to the Saiyan Empire. To the Cooler Empire. Yeah, she meant. She was one of the people that honestly not that she was one of those people that didn't like Cooler. She liked them. He was much better for the Saiyan race than the options he had told her about. That Bardock had told her about. But it was more like Saiyans should be doing this on their own and not with anyone backing them. Allies, yes, but commanders, he didn't think so. So Borgos seemed to have noticed this as he actually looked over at her inquisitively. Fossa looked over at Borgos and he just chuckled as he lightly punched him in the cheek. Oh, you big silent lug. I'm doing just fine. After all, we've gotten stronger doing this job than we ever did before. Sucks that we couldn't use grade 8 forms though. Toma just shuddered. Don't remind me about that. That was horrible. Though as all 4 of them remembered how they couldn't use the most powerful abilities because Cooler was afraid that was making them weak. So if they had heard one rumor about Saiyan transforming into apes, they would have pretty much stricken them of the ranks and sent them to custodial duty. Bardock's words specifically as well. Actually, it was Bardock's orders. They needed to prove themselves to Cooler so that they could have more free reign, which they wanted. And once they had that free reign, they could better equip themselves to back the Saiyan Empire for themselves. Till then, though, they had to play the waiting game, which I guess popped the vein at. Damn it! Why are we letting a bunch of freaking aliens tell us what to do? I hate this. He growled as he bit into another piece of dead alien that seemed to look like some type of space turkey. Toma just chuckled as he waved them off. Ah, come on, it's not that bad. Her power's gone up exponentially. Now all we gotta do is head back exponentially. And Toma was actually correct. Their power had gone up incredibly in the last couple of months, just to see how they could do on their own. And by what happened to them was actually pretty simple. Fossa went from a power level of about 2,000 to around 30,000. Then the gas went from a power level of about 4,000 to around 40,000. Then Toma went from a power level of about 5,000 to about 60,000. And Burgos went from a power level of 4,200 to around the same level as Toma, which actually surprised everyone. Looks like the big quiet Saiyan was hiding some secret potential they never knew about. Now they were almost certain they weren't as strong as the other Saiyans they were about to meet up with, but to be honest, their entire mission wasn't really about that. It was more so just about them being capable of spearheading an assault on the galaxy on their own. And they also prided themselves that they didn't lose a single member of the team. They also did some minor training in between missions, which they knew greatly helped. Because there was some that Bardock had actually taught them to do do some basic workouts that actually greatly increased their athleticism. Toma chuckled as the plan of Vegeta came into view. Leave it to Bardock to give us PE lessons as freelancers. Foster just put a hand around her teammate's shoulders. You got that right. Oh well, let's see just how crazy Lord Cooler's training did for the rest of the military, huh guys? Hey, Siga actually let out a small smirk. Even Burgos seemed to be genuinely happy to go back home again. And little did they know though that there would actually be a bit. Little did they know just how insane the things were gonna get when they went back to Vegeta. Yeah, but that is for joy for the next part. And so that ends part 5 of What If Cooler replaced Freiza. Now, I know my favorite ballers, I have been skipping around a lot and we haven't exactly gone on to what's actually happening on Earth. But that's because at the time and place, Kakarot's still a baby, so there's not really much going on there. However, I will promise that in the next couple of parts, we will eventually get to what's happening on Earth, but I'm pretty certain that people are now a lot more interested as to what's happening in space at this point in time. I mean, you have the Saiyans going wild in the name of Lord Cooler. You have Cooler's plan to take over King Cold's empire totally and fully. We have no idea what Frieza's doing at this point in time, because remember, he's disgraced, but he's still very much alive. And we all know how strong he can get when he puts his mind to it. Or, like when the plot demands it. But anyway, let's see what's gonna happen at the next Grand Saiyan meeting. As all the Saiyans meet again for the first time in half a year. What's gonna happen and what's gonna change? Stay tuned, my faithful ballers. And until next time, may the divine force be with you.